Hello, I'm the Hood Trucker, and it's the Hood Trucker News. First off, I'd like to welcome you to the show. If you got something to say, you can go. Let me drop the I forgot to do that. Let me drop the link so you can come and join and say what you got to say. If you got something to say, welcome. Appreciate you stopping by. We got an awesome topic today. I was thumbing through my usual channels and I found this. So apparently, Donald Trump is leading the national polls. Now, um, that's not really an indicator per se, because if you're doing national polls, they take the whole entire country and they poll that, right? Which is not necessarily a good indicator, because as we all know, there's such thing called battleground states, and usually the battleground states are called battleground because the election is won or lost on that battleground, and it's a handful of states. Florida's involved, Michigan, Georgia, stuff like that. Kind of southern state, because New York's going to vote Democratic, California's going to vote Democratic. California's got a huge swath of the electoral votes, so like that's not you wouldn't call that a battleground state. However, some of these states, Colorado, Arizona, some of these states where they're trying to get Trump off the ballot, those are hotly contested, and every vote counts in those states. And the states that Joe Biden won in the battleground states were narrowly won. So, like, for example, I think it was he's going to. I don't know if the gentleman that we're going to listen to right now, because I got a clip of them interviewing some voters, right? And I don't know if before or after he's going to mention that one of those states, Joe Biden only won like by 150,000 votes, which is not a lot when you're talking about. I mean, if you're talking about a small state, it's probably, but if you're talking about a larger state, that's not a whole lot. 150,000 can be swayed one way or the other. So the reason why this is a topic is because not only is Joe Biden winning in a national poll, I'm sorry, Donald Trump is winning in a national poll, but Donald Trump appears to be swaying, or he's polling better with black voters. Now, I think it was MSNBC. MSNBC, they said, that aired this originally, but some of the commentating we're going to get is from, it's a show called Breaking Points, and I would share the screen. I don't think they would have a problem with it, but shoot, I just lost it. But I can't share the screen uh, on this iPad, so I'm on the road, and I have to go with the iPad instead of the computer. So um, we're going to get the commentator on basically prefacing the interview. We're going to talk during the interview, and I'm going to give my thoughts. I think it's hilarious, by the way, the people in the interview. That's why I had to talk about this, right? So, uh, so we're gonna get his take on it, and then we're gonna listen to it, and then we're definitely gonna comment about it. So, okay, let's get started.
Absolutely. And just to underscore this, one of the key themes of some of the things we'll talk about right now are somehow Biden, his lack of strength doesn't just come from independent voters or from Republican overperformance or enthusiasm. He's losing key parts of his own coalition. MSNBC, shockingly, aired some comments from black voters that they at least were probably taken by surprise, where they aired some of the criticism of Biden. And not only that, about why Trump support, at least marginally amongst black men, is beginning to increase. Here's what they had to say.
So at least marginally. Thank you for stopping by, Rochelle. Appreciate you. At least marginally, you know, he's gaining support in the black community. Now, to be honest with you, when you see the dudes that they interviewed to give their opinions about why they did, I mean, we're gonna definitely speak on it. But me personally, I don't know why you would do that. I mean, from an integrity standpoint, from a just a pure uh, just somebody that you do not want in the White House. I can't see why you would vote for Trump. But let's hear what these gentlemen have to say. Oh, and by the way, since you can't see the video, um, they're interviewing these black men in a barbershop. Now, why is it like? What is it about the barbershop? Yeah, okay. I go to barbershops all the time. Rochelle says I'm voting red. I'm sick of Biden. Okay, I mean, you're more entitled to your opinion, but um, why is it that you know? Is it? I guess I kind of get it, but I mean, it appears like nowadays, like every time you interview a black man, it has to be in a barbershop. Like you have Math Hoffa, who is the battle rapper. He's got a podcast that he does inside of a barbershop. You have LeBron James. He does a show in the barbershop. You have movies barbershop. Okay, I guess you know I guess you could say that that's what besides the bar or the strip club or a court. I guess you could say that's where black men congregate, but it's just like it's like a theme, and I don't know why. And now it's even on mainstream media, to where they feel like you know maybe the feeling is that if you interview black men in a barbershop, it gets some type of legitimacy or something like that. So I'm not sure. Thank you, Kimberly, for stopping by. Appreciate you. So okay, look, again, I can't share the screen, but we're going to do that. So that's the guy interviewing. He's the one asking the questions. And it's in the barbershop again. So let's hear what he has to say.
Appeal there for some black men with Trump. What is it? Money. Yeah. I mean, Donald Trump has a reputation of being the money man. So I just think.
Did you hear that? They said, what's the appeal? They said money. What's Donald Trump's appeal? Well, he's been the money man. That's why you're gonna vote for him, because he's been the money man. So I guess bankruptcy is a part of being the money man. Hold on, let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. Let's hear that again.
What is it? Money. Yeah. I mean, Donald Trump has a reputation of being the money man.
Okay, let's show his face. That's who just said that's why he's voting, because Donald Trump has been the money man. I mean, you gonna vote for Floyd Mayweather too because he's the money man? Like what? It's ridiculous. But he's got 3 or 4 other guys got to ask. But that's the guy that just said because he's been known as the money man. That's why I'm voting for him. Money.
So I just think that Donald Trump, despite of all the craziness
Okay, here's the guy. He's talking right now. Do they cut hair like that at the barbershop? I don't know. He might be a barber, but that's the guy that you're going to listen to now. This is him.
Reading some of the things that he talks about with business, I can kind of agree with as far as business wise, because I'm trying to grow my business. A lot of people.
So he said the reason why he's voting for Trump is because he's trying to grow his business, and he basically read his book. Hold on. Just so you don't get confused, let's go back and listen to it again one more time.
Talks about with business.
Hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back a little bit further. Okay. Let's go back a little bit further.
I think that Donald Trump, despite Spite of all the craziness he may have in his head, reading some of the things that he talks about with business, I can kind of agree with as far as business wise.
Okay, so he just said, in spite of all the craziness he has in his head, you're gonna take a business advice from a crazy man. Despite all the craziness in his head, you're gonna take business advice from him. And then you're gonna vote for him too. Lord Jesus Christ.
Despite of all the craziness he may have in his head, reading some of the things that he talks about with business, I can kind of agree with as far as business wise.
Did you happen to read that he filed for bankruptcy a bunch of times? Oh, and he inflated. He's accused of being a fraud and inflating his numbers for tax purposes, or excuse me, inflating his numbers for loans and deflating his numbers for tax purposes. You want? I guess that inspired you to want to take business advice from him, so because he's a crook.
I'm trying to grow my business. A lot of people.
He's trying to grow his business from a crazy. He said he was crazy. Craziness in his head. You gonna take business advice from a dude's got craziness in his head.
Talks about with business, I can kind of agree with as far as business wise, because I'm trying to grow my business. A lot of people admire.
Okay, this is the next dude up. Okay, that's this guy, right? At the barbershop. I guess he got a bald head, right? So, it's what he has to say.
The persona, and they want to be him. You know, they want to enjoy the perks that he has. He seems to always be able to circumvent the rules. You're hearing that too.
You hear what he just said? Hold on. Hold on. Let's back this up. He said he voted for Trump because they want to be him, and he knows how to circumvent the rules. Okay, you remember, I'm the one who says that I don't trust black business as far as I can spit. There's a guy that says on here that he's voting for Trump because he knows how to circumvent the rules. And I'm supposed to come on now.
Talks about with business, I can kind of agree with that part.
That's why a lot of black businesses fail, because they're too busy trying to circumvent the rules. And the old lady gang don't do takeout on the weekends.
I'm trying to grow my business. A lot of people admire the persona, and they want to be him. You know, they want to enjoy the perks that he has. He seems to always be able to circumvent the rules. You're hearing that too. There's some people.
They want to be him. They want to enjoy his perks, and he knows how to circumvent the rules, right? Circumventing the rules is the fraud stuff he's being accused of. Circumventing the rules is why he got to pay $83 million on this case and another $5 million on another case. Circumventing the rules is why he's waiting on that verdict that's going to be somewhere upwards of $370 million. So you want to vote for this guy so he can be just like him. They want to be him. So that means you want all them cases he got. You want to grab women by the coochie. Is that what you're saying?
People who are either voting for Donald Trump or considering it, for sure. A lot of my friends are obviously my age, so we're a little younger.
Okay, so here's this guy, younger guy. I'm not gonna bash him too much because he's a young cat, and if he's under 26 years old, his brain's not all developed all the way. Because that's scientific fact that if you under 26 or 25, your brain ain't even developed all the way. So who knows what's going on in your brain, because they ain't even developed all the way. But we're gonna assume that he's right around that age or something. So let's hear what he has to say.
I only voted once, for a president, and Trump is kind of all we know, and they're kind of.
He's only voted once for a president. He's only voted once for a president. So we're gonna assume that he was 18 to vote, right? We're gonna assume if he only voted once, it's three. Joe Biden's been in the office for 3 years. We're gonna assume he's 21. Does he look like he's 21? He might be 21, 25, something like that. First of all, If you're 21, your brain's not all the way developed. That's number one. Number two, what you mean? That's all you know. You never heard of the first black president by the name of Joe? Excuse me, Joe. But the first black president by the name of Barack Obama. You never heard of that? That's all you know is Trump. What do you mean? That's all you know is Trump. So let's assume that even that you voted for, let's say all you know is Trump because let's say you voted for Trump in the last election. So that was 2020. Excuse me. He got elected in 2016, right? So let's assume that this guy's even a little bit older than that. So let's say 2016 to 8 years, right? Let's say you got to be 18. Let's say 26. He looks more like 26 than 21. So let's assume that his brain's all the way developed, and he voted for Trump the last time. But you're 18 the first time you vote. You said Trump's all you know. Well, who was before Trump? You had 8 years of Barack Obama. So and if you was 18, if you voted for Trump, if he was 18 then, he was 10 years old when Barack Obama got elected. That's old enough to remember. I mean, my earliest recollection is 5. So you were 10, and like even though your brain ain't all the way developed, you still can remember. I can remember stuff when I was 10. I let's see, what year was that when I was 10? 81. I don't remember who the president was, but if you say, hey, this guy was the president, I'll remember who it is. Maybe it was 80s, it was Ronald Reagan, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I know who the president. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, Ronald Reagan or Jimmy Carter or Bill Clinton, or that's all I know. What do you mean that's all you know? There's been 3 other presidents. Like, you had Barack Obama for 8 years, then you had Donald Trump, and now you got Joe Biden. So what you mean Donald Trump's the only one you know? I mean, that's ridiculous. That's what I'm talking about, because all of this is ridiculous. But let's continue here. We got to say.
They're like, well, we were broke with Biden. We weren't with Trump. And that's kind of the only thing that I'm hearing over and over again.
We were broke with Biden, and we weren't with Trump. Why are the numbers now better than the numbers when Donald Trump was the president? There was a thing called COVID that he had a terrible response to. The unemployment is lower now than it was then. You may not be able to feel it because the top 10% own most of the wealth in the country. So, okay, we get it. But, however, the numbers are better now than they were with Donald Trump. And they say we're broke now. We're broke now. But we weren't with Trump.
Trump, we had money. Well, okay, I hear you guys, but
when they giving out PPP loans when Trump was oh, that's Biden. Hey, yeah, you ain't counting the PPP loans. You ain't counting their money? What you mean?
See myself. Very honest, I think, in terms of that portrayal. With Trump, we had money. With Biden, we're broke. I mean, listen, people are pocketbook voters. Are all people like that? No, not
Thank
necessarily. As we saw in the 2022 midterms, people did not vote with the economy as number one on their mind. They voted with abortion and with Stop the Steal. Very much so in order to have Democratic overperformance. So again, I can sit here and I can make the case every single which way, but I do think that there is a major peril there for Biden within his coalition. Second to that is a lot of what's happening right now with Israel, with younger voters. Let's put this up there on the screen.
Okay, we don't want to talk about Israel because I was having a conversation earlier today, and I've spoken on this before. We're not going to talk about Israel or what's going on over there because they don't talk about our issues. So I'm not going to talk about their issues. If you don't want to help me, why am I gonna help you? Why am I give you my opinion about it? I don't know of any Israelis or Palestinians or any of them that speaking on black issues or supporting black issues or any of that. So, as far as I'm concerned, I could care less about it. But the black vote, I had okay, so he had the board game and he was on TV. See, a lot of people vote based on identity politics. That's all we know, right? He's been on TV. Why do you think Donald Trump, every chance he gets, he wants to make a showing. He's like the presidential version of Charleston White. And if you don't know who Charleston White, look him up. He's a loudmouth, and that's how he gets attention. He spews a bunch of stuff, and that's what he's known for. So he's like the presidential Charleston White. Um, because he knows that if he's in front of the camera, that y'all gonna. It's like identity, like it's identity politics. He also knows that if he repeats a lie, he accused Joe Biden in a speech not too long ago that Joe Biden tells the same lie over and over until people start to believe it. He does exactly the same thing. So here's the thing: the reason why I would never vote for Joe Biden is the same reason I'd never listen to another R. Kelly record. If you playing with people the way you shouldn't be playing with them, and I'm gonna keep it PG, you're not gonna get my vote. And I don't care what that is. If you got you on tape saying that you grab women by the coochie, you're not gonna get my vote ever. I don't care what the economy look like. Listen, you're not gonna sell me, or I'm not for sale. In other words, you're not gonna buy my vote. Oh, the economy was this and that, even though it's better now. But let's assume that it was. That's not enough. You stack the court. You stack the court with people who overturned Roe v. Wade. And every time it was on the ballot, it won. So that means you didn't upset a lot of women. Not only because you didn't say it on tape that you grab them by the coochie, but you stack the court so they can overturn their right to control their own bodies. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: like if you if they interviewing these dudes at the barbershop, right? And in my opinion, all of their excuses for voting for Donald Trump are just as ridiculous as normal Trump supporters, right? Like the MAGA people, like it's just as ridiculous. So imagine as a woman that one of these dudes was your baby daddy. If you found out that one of these dudes was your baby daddy, wouldn't you be going down to the clinic if Roe v. Wade was still available to you? Wouldn't you be running down to the thing trying to hurry up and get away from that dude? I'm saying, because look, they interviewed these guys at the barbershop, but what about interviewing some guys in court? See what they got to say, or down at the child support division, because a lot of, speaking as a black man, a lot of us don't like to take care of our own. We have babies. Oh, I'm gonna put a baby up. I got all kinds of friends, and almost all of them. I'm not even gonna say all of them. I would say all of them have child support. All of them. Maybe one or two don't, but all of them have some type of issue with that. They yanking a driver license in California. They yanking your driver's license. If you're a barber, they're yanking your barber license if you don't keep up. And that's the only reason why you keep up, because you're gonna lose something. But you ain't got no problem going to the strip club, the strip club, whatever, gambling, dice, all that kind of stuff. When you go to the strip club, you got babies. When you go to the strip club, throw that money up in there, you throwing your child support money in there. And then, like, I have friends that say, "Well, I ain't gonna give my baby mama no money. I'm gonna give her the stuff." What, like food and electricity and heat and keeping your child entertained with some television. You might want to have a phone or something. All that costs money. I'm gonna bring her the stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, so. And here's the thing: a lot of people talk about how black women are angry and all that stuff. Listen, speaking from a black man perspective, listen, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of us are irresponsible and just downright raggedy. right? So I understand. I totally understand. So I approach that situation like in terms of dating or whatever the case. I approach that situation like that, knowing that whoever that came before me that probably did some raggedy stuff, and she's probably upset, and is probably going to fall in my arms. Now, what I don't allow is that to happen, because if you do that, I can't deal with that. I mean, I do enough of my own stuff. I'm not going to pay for nobody else's stuff, but understand this. Donald Trump made it so you can't fix that problem. You can't, once you, because you got a little bit of time. Because like a lot of times, like we even saw, like it's like some of the movies. What's a Minister Society, where the old boy had sex with the girl, and then found out they was pregnant. He said, "Oh, it's not mine," and then she told the brother or something like that, and then the brother went, and they got into a shootout or whatever. Um, and he actually got murked, right? So that happens in real life. You think somebody cool, and then one thing leads to another, and then all of a sudden, you got a Roe versus Wade. Which one was fly, man? All of a sudden, you got a Roe versus Wade situation, and then a lot of states won't let you take care of it. So even if it's forcible, right? You can get knocked up forcibly, right? And a lot of states, they want to make you have that, or which I mean, that's got to be crazy, because can you imagine, like, first of all, going through that ordeal, and then secondly, having to carry full term a reminder of what happened to you. That's insane to me. Like, there are situations where Roe versus Wade is useful. It's not just it's not just a birth control mechanism, which some people use it for that, but in certain situations, like or like the baby has some type of complications, or the mother has some type of complications where it would be dangerous to have that child, but still, like, you can go to jail for that if you try to fix it. Even if you go across state lines, they even got laws now. You can't even cross state lines. And Donald Trump did all that. He'll tell you, I did that. I did that. Well, you got to understand, is you willing to? If it was he put people in place that said it was settled law when they was going through their confirmation hearing. Amy Comer Barrett, and then the other guy, the one that got accused for doing the same thing Donald Trump did in college. I forget his name, but both of them basically said it's settled law. Right? I'm not, I don't. And guess what? Both of them voted to overturn it. Now what? Right? Now you got states trying to legalize it in their, because states have their own rights. A lot of, they have a lot of rights, and they have a lot of leeway when it comes to that. A lot of states put it to the voters on the ballot, and every time they did that, it passed. California, all these, a lot of liberal states, but because the southern states, if you go to Oklahoma or Mississippi or they got a church on every corner, and a lot of states you can't even buy alcohol on Sundays, and I don't know why, but those are the states where also you can't exercise your Roe versus Wade rights. And listen, you didn't ticked off a lot of women. And look, as a black man, I know we got some issues, and we need to work on those. And one of them is, like, being responsible. A lot of us are not responsible. I talked about the other day how a lot of us not. I mean, even when it comes to money, like, we're not responsible. Like, you either go to the strip club, or you're gambling, or you drink too much, or you putting too much money into a car. I've been guilty of a lot of that. I don't do strip clubs or nothing like that, but just disrespectful with money, right? And disrespectful with the privilege, or the God-given right to have a child, and you have a child, and then you say, I don't want to deal with her, and that's my baby mama and whatever. That's why we got a lot of these dudes running around here raggedy, because in my opinion, a woman can't teach a man how to be a man. That's why there's a lot of these dudes running around here, and you're like, who raised you? Because you can't. That's like, if I'm not a mechanic, I can't teach mechanics. I have to be a truck driver to teach you or to tell you how to drive. So therefore, a woman can't teach a little boy how to grow up and be a man. Sometimes they got to learn that stuff on the street or whatever the case. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. But a woman can't do it. And it's a shame that us as black men put that on them like that. Like we just leave them be. And it's not just black men don't just date black women. They date Mexican women, and they date white women, and whatever have you. Chinese, Asian, whatever. And it doesn't matter. A lot of times, I'm not gonna say majority or whatever, but a lot of times that's what happens. You had a baby, out of there. So listen, that's raggedy in my opinion. If you're not prepared to take that responsibility, then don't lay down with that woman. Simple as that. Because listen, that's the purpose of two people procreating, is to have a child. Yeah, it feel good and all of that. It's awesome, and she's fine and this or that or whatever, and she do this, do that. Fine, but don't do it if you're not prepared, or if you're not going to be prepared to put on a prophylactic. Be prepared, tell, hey, what whatever, right? But if you're not prepared to take care of that, then don't do it, because you know what you're doing. You spitting out all these children, men in particular, who not raised by men, and therefore raised by women. And we have this saying in the black community that B ass in. You know what the B stands for. You know what the N stands for, and that's why. Why do we say that? Because you acting like a woman. Why do you act like a woman? Because you was raised by one. So you can't be raised. You can't. I mean, are there anomalies to everything? Yes, but generally, you can't be raised by a woman and come out like a man. It's next to impossible. It happens. There's some people that do, but a lot of times in those cases, they had some type of male influence. But here again, that's on us. I'm a part of that community. I feel, I feel for the people that we do damage to. I don't have any children, so I can talk as much as I want to about all of this because I don't have any. But it's terrified of that and be accused of that, because look, I people have their stories. I have my stories too, right? So terrified to uh put that out in the atmosphere as to being irresponsible, putting a child on the earth and then leaving, and then having no parts of raising the child. So I was terrified of that, and that's why I don't have any. But then I had 20 or 30 beautiful nieces and nephews that I could go visit. Go visit, bring a whole bunch of candy, get them hopped up on candy, and leave. And let their parents deal with it. So with that, we gonna get out of here. I had to talk about that because from the standpoint of these news organizations that interview, they get these clowns. Like, I mean, and these guys are clowns because no intelligent reasoning for voting for Donald Trump. Because I read his book. We were broke then, or excuse me, we had money then, but we're broke now. I mean, just goofy reasons. Anyway, so we're gonna get out of here. Thanks for stopping by. We're gonna do this. Try to do this at least on a Monday through Friday basis. I'm trying to work the schedule out. I didn't do one yesterday, but trying to work the schedule out. I got to do stuff. A lot of stuff going on in terms of software, stuff like that. Like, subscribe, become a member, join the membership. Again, appreciate you stopping by. Support the channel though, so we can continue to do this as much as we can. So with that, enjoy the rest of your day whenever you're watching this. And until next time, I'm the Hood Trucker for the Hood Trucker News.